Hey everyone, my name is Shlok Gupta. I'm currently a STEM MBA student at the Washington University in St. Louis in United States. I'm also a content creator on LinkedIn. Well, you might have seen my content somewhere on the internet with the name Shlok's Shlok. Welcome to you guys to the GMAT course by Unacademy. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through why you should even consider an MBA abroad or an MBA outside India. And I'm going to tell you some of the benefits and some of the cons about it. And then I'm going to give you a brief idea about what GMAT is all about. We all are fascinated by the Instagram stories that our friends might put out about the various vacations they are having somewhere in Dubai or United States or somewhere in Europe. And they are going through these vacations because they are settled abroad or maybe they are doing an education outside India. This actually become a very common reason for people who wants to do an MBA abroad because they want to settle there and they want to live a lifestyle there. But to be very honest, this should not be your reason why you should do an MBA outside India. There are various different reasons why you should go ahead with that. The first one is it is very important to develop a business acumen in a very practical way if you study outside India. In India, most of our education is a little bit theory based, and the experiences that we get in classroom are more about the subject studied in a book than maybe experiencing it in a practical way in the outside world. Outside India, the education system is a little bit different. To be honest, it's a lot different. If you are doing an MBA from a top business school, you will be getting education in a practical way. I will give you an example. So last month, I was on an educational trip across three continents. I went to Washington, D.C., the capital of United States. Then I went to Europe, where I went to Spain, Barcelona, and then France, the city of Paris. After that, I went to Santiago, the capital of Chile in South America. In each of these cities, I dealt with local companies, local projects. I tried to understand the landscape of the market. I tried to understand the competition present in these regions. And then, whatever learnings I have studied in my classroom, I developed a strategy for them that how businesses could succeed in each of these markets. This is just one example of how you actually get to develop practical skills and practical learning by working for real life companies if you're getting education abroad from a top business school. And that is big difference why you should be doing an MBA outside India from a top business school, because it really grills you and makes you prepare for long conversations that you are going to have when you will be working in business world, and you will be a lot more ready to deal with these situations. Another reason is when you actually go out of your comfort zone, when you start living in a new country, it really helps you develop individually. You don't have your parents around you, you don't have your friends around you, and you are literally in a new world on your own, exploring. You are networking with people, you are meeting new people. You're literally meeting people from somebody from Nigeria to somebody from Europe, from someone from Australia to somebody from Mexico. And when you meet these people and you learn their life experiences, when you start staying with them every day, you understand a lot more complexities about the world. And that helps you grow individually also. It helps you develop a lot of networking skills. You become a lot more confident in talking to people. And it is a big boost for your overall personality. That's why a lot of companies are looking for candidates who have international exposure, because international exposure really helps you in preparing to be able to work in an international environment. Another reason is that there are very specialized options that are available outside India for an MBA that are different from the courses offered in India. For example, in India, from a typical MBA college, you will see specializations like human resources, or marketing, or finance. Well, you will find all these things outside India as well, but there are some differences, and you actually have some courses that are very special and which you won't find easily in schools inside India. For example, a specialization in entrepreneurship is something very special. For example, my school, Washington University in St. Louis, is known for entrepreneurship. And a lot of students from all around the world come to our school to take this specialization because they become future leader of businesses. Another one is a specialization in consulting, as a lot of people know that consulting is one of the highest paying job, and doing a specialization in consulting if from a top business school is really helpful. As I was talking about networks right now, when you sit with students from all across the globe in the same class, you actually get to know them a lot better, and you develop relationships which are extremely beneficial in the future of your career. For example, if a friend of yours is from South Africa and you met that person in a business school, in a top business school in maybe United States, maybe after 10 years, if your company wants to open an office in the country of South Africa and they want to send you to do some research, that person who was your friend from South Africa, from your school, would be the right person for you to be able to reach out and to be able to understand the market and to be able to develop a strategy on how to bring business to that particular country. So these relationships are extremely important for the future also. Another thing is that you develop a competitive advantage for yourself as well. There are a lot of great employment opportunities that are available outside India. If you are getting a degree from an Indian B school, there are very high chances that you will be placed in one of the Indian companies. There is low probability that you will be getting placed outside India. But if you are doing an international MBA, there are very, very, very high chances, if you do well, you will be getting a job in any country in the world. And because if you are doing an MBA from a top country like United States, there are very high chances that you could be placed anywhere around the world. And it would be a lot dependent on what you want to do with your career. So I think these are the good enough reasons for me to convince you that why you should do an MBA outside India and what are some of the benefits of it. But I must tell you there are some shortcomings as well. As I was talking about, when you move outside country, you really feel lonely at times because you are on your own and you have to really deal with things on your own a lot of times. For people who are not strong mentally, this could push them into depression. Second thing is managing expenses also become a tricky task. Education outside India, education abroad is really expensive. So it is very important, if you don't come from an Ambani's family, it is very important that you get great scholarships so that it can cover most of your tuition expenses. And for rest of the things, initially for the time being, when you are getting education, things might look a lot expensive. Even a packet of Maggie that would cost 10 rupees in India would actually cost something like 60 or 70 rupees in United States. After you get a job, you get paid well, and then you have opportunities to pay back for all the loan or all the expenses you have done in those 2 years. But for that particular period of time, it is not the most rosy situation. Another thing is also the fact that in this world of globalization, which still has a lot of visa restriction, there are high chances to get deported to your home country. Just now, you might have heard that there were layoffs in United States by a lot of tech companies, and a lot of workers who are international and are on H-1B visa are on a risk on being deported back to India or back to their home countries. if they are not able to get another employment within 60 days of their release. This really affects you mentally because you feel like a guest or kind of a temporary visitor to a country where you are living almost permanently and working there. So now you have an idea that what are some of the great benefits of an international MBA and what are some of the downsides. Now it is we need to talk about that how do you really get there? Well, there are a lot of options these days. I have seen a lot of people just giving IELTS and going to some random college in some random country. I won't recommend you that because those schools are really not good. And even if you get a chance to go and study there, spend a lot of money, you might be having fun for those 2 years, you might be going around. But getting a job after that would be very difficult. But those because those schools don't have credibilities. I would highly recommend you to give a specialized exam like GMAT or GRE through which you can get into a top international MBA program. This will ensure success of yours in the long term future. It will ensure that there is a great brand on your resume and it will help you a lot in future as per your career. So now what is GMAT? Well, to be honest, even I don't remember the full form of GMAT. It is Graduate Management Admission Test. So, GMAT is a very popular exam which is conducted in countries all across the world, through which you get judged based on your analytical skills, your verbal skills, your communication skills, and your ability to think on your feet, your problem solving skills. And you get a score out of 800. And based on this score, you can apply to multiple MBA colleges across the world. So there's no particular date when GMAT is conducted. It is actually on you when you can take this exam. When you feel that you are ready, you can just go on to the website of mba.com and you can schedule your GMAT exam. Well, to be very honest, GMAT is a little bit expensive. It is around $250 the last time I checked. And so booking it again and again in an year is something I won't really recommend. So do give GMAT when you feel that you are ready for it. In a year, you can book GMAT up to 5 times, and there should be a particular gap between the two consecutive attempts. So the kind of flexibility that GMAT offers, that you can take it whenever you want and you can take it from almost your home city or a computer test center nearby you, makes it really accessible, makes it something which a lot of people want to attempt. AWA or Analytical Writing Assessment is the first section in the GMAT exam, and it tests that how well you can communicate your thoughts to your audience. It does not have a direct impact on your score of 800, but it is a pretty important section, and a lot of schools do check AWA score. This section is graded between 0 to 6. The next section is integrated reasoning. This sections try to understand that how you can interpret data based on charts and different word formats, paragraph formats, and it tries to see that how you can use the data to develop a theory around it or develop a conclusion around it. This section is graded between 1 to 8. Again, this section does not have a direct impact on your score of 800. Next section checks your quantitative ability. Well, this section is very important. Currently, it is of 62 minutes and it has a direct impact on your GMAT score. It is graded out of 52, and whatever you score you get, it highly impacts your GMAT score out of 800. The last section is verbal section, and it tries to check your command on the language, your grammatical knowledge, your ability to read long comprehension passages and other things. This section is again graded out of 52 and its scores also impact a lot your total GMAT score. A score of 700 or above is considered very good for any GMAT candidate. And to be honest, for an Indian candidate, well, we are a lot in population. We are competing among ourselves to get into a top international college. So it is very important for an Indian candidate to get very high score in GMAT if you really want to get into a very good business school. A score above 700 is highly recommended. So I hope you get a brief idea about the International MBA, some great things, some not so good things, and an overview idea of what GMAT is all about. We will be coming back on the Unacademy channel in the next video, and we will be talking about in great details about this exam, which is making dreams come true for a lot of people. By that time, please subscribe to the Unacademy channel. If you like this content, do like the video. Also, follow me on social media on Instagram as well as on LinkedIn. Thank you. Have a nice day.